And now we welcome in Jeff Saturday. So, Jeff, are you more surprised Brian Flores was fired or that Joe Judge still hasn't been?
That Joe Judge hasn't been. And make no mistake, I think the Brian Flores firing is ridiculous. He had no business being fired. But when I watched that debacle that they called a Giants football game on Sunday and that 3rd and 9 call where they go into a basically reverse bone and run that thing up there, I mean, compare and contrast that to the Detroit Lions, right? Think about the Fighting Dan Campbells. They run like a reverse pass, a double pass for touchdowns. They're leaving it all out on the field because it really doesn't matter. And it didn't matter for the Giants either. And they're not trying to aggressively attack the defense and make plays. I don't care if it's Fromm. I don't care if it's Glenn. I don't care if it was Daniel Jones. Like, this is the last time you're going to play as a group. To play conservative football does not make any sense to me at all. And if you think about where the Giants sit today and that Joe Judge is having meetings, whether he's going to meet with the general managers or not meet with the general managers, what has happened this season to give you faith that this team has turned around, right? They had 6 games of double-digit losses. When you think about Barkley's not any better, Daniel Jones isn't any better, their offensive line isn't any better. I don't see any direction where this team, other than in press conferences, you feel like they are making steps to move on or to have that winning mentality. It just doesn't look good. And when you talk about trying to bring free agents, when you talk about trying to bring a general manager to this, if he's the coach that you're kind of saddled with, I'm not sure you're going to get the best candidate. So I just question where they are. I understand they don't want to upset the apple cart and hey, listen, we've already had to let go of a coach after 2 years and blah, blah, blah. But Key knows and I know when you're in the locker room, you got to have the trust of those 53 guys who are lining up with you. And what the last 7 or 8 games have shown me is there's not a lot of trust in that locker room. There's not a lot of belief that we're turning the corner and we're right on the cusp of it. And again, I compared it to the Detroit Lions and just the style of play between those two teams. Which team do you think you'd rather go to if you're a free agent comparing those? And I think the decision is easy when you look at it that way. That's not just an indictment on Joe Judge, but the entire organization over these past few years. It just hasn't worked.
Look, Jeff, I understand what you're saying about Joe Judge, right? But I think when you talk about surprised, like Joe Judge still has a job for now. So I'm okay. I understand. You know how these things go. They get rid of the general manager on a soft landing. Now they want to see what's out there, have some conversations. But when you go down to Miami and you all of a sudden yesterday get hit with a rock that Brian Flores is gone. After 3 years, turning things around, he took over for Adam Gase. Do I need to say it again? Adam Gase. He took over for him. So it was a complete turnaround, 160-degree turnaround. Then you think about it from this aspect of it. Ryan Fitzpatrick was there. When he got the job, they went out to hire Jim Caldwell as his offensive coordinator. Jim Caldwell abruptly got sick, had to step down because of health issues. He now wants to get back into coaching. So then they go out and they hire Shan Gailey to be their offensive coordinator. He then convinces Chris Grier, the general manager, to take a shot on Tua as the quarterback. They draft him. They say, great. So now they start off slow. I think they lost about their first 5 games in a row. Now all of a sudden they get better and better and better. The next year they win 10 games. This year they got better and better and better. As soon as I saw it, I knew it was a political move anyway. Chris Grier, they're doing this to each other. Everybody's pointing the finger. There's reports out there that Brian Flores was really kicking the tires and pushing the Deshaun Watson trade. I would too if it all checked out correctly. I know who my quarterback is. He can't take me to the promised land. He may be able to win me 1 or 2 games, but he's going to eventually get me fired. So when I look at it, I said to myself, essentially, you fired a coach that was a winning football coach that had turned the program completely around from Adam Gase because your general manager and your owner couldn't get on the same page with the head coach in terms of philosophy, personnel, and what they were doing on the coaching staff. Now you allowed not only another man to be out on the streets that happened to be an African American. We only have 2, mind you, in the pro football coaching, and that would be Mike Tomlin and Coach Culley at Houston, which they're now looking at and trying to figure out what they want to do with him in the Houston Texans. It's just crazy to me. One of the biggest surprise of all this year for me in professional sports when it comes to hiring and firing coaches. Makes zero sense. None at all. And wherever he lands at next, he's gonna land a pretty good
he's
job.
He's said to be one of the prime coaching candidates for a lot of positions that have opened up, so that's good news for him.
Yeah, Charlie, I was about to say, listen, he ain't going to be unemployed long. I mean, this is a guy that has proven what he can do. And to Key's point, I just want to add this on. Think about the distraction that he had to deal with Fitzpatrick and Tua first, and then Tua and Deshaun Watson or someone else coming into Miami. The way that he kept that locker room unified and battling, bad offensive line. You know, you had Tua who you're trying to develop and bring along. He got that defense right. And this is the craziest part to me about Flores. I think he was 4-2 against the Patriots. When you hire a head coach, you hire him to first win your division because that's how you get a home playoff game. And so if you see a guy who has made strides in that direction and trying to work his organization back into the playoffs and getting it that way, I'm with you. He will not be unemployed long. And I can tell you that. My surprise, though, the reason I said it was a bigger surprise, I didn't think Joe Judge would make it through Monday after what happened on Sunday. So both are surprises to me. The Judge one's just a little more. But Brian Flores, that dude should be the top candidate for all the teams looking for coaches because of what he can do to come in to fix your.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.